Hey, good evening, friends out there on Facebook. My name is Dennis LaRue, your international executive coach, speaker, and trainer with your hashtag steeltoesrequired quote of the week, episode number 7, lucky number 7. But before I give you the quote, first thing I want to say to you is Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's a little late. It's not Thursday, but we do this every Sunday, so I hope that you had a great Thanksgiving. You enjoyed your time with family and friends. And Amy, I see you out there. Hi, Mom. And I hope you got to do what I love to do. I'm going to share something with you real quick. What I do every Thanksgiving, for as long as I can remember, there are a couple of things. Amy was on earlier. I was listening to her on a Facebook Live, and she was sharing about she served in the Navy. And I retired Air Force, so we both know what it's like to be deployed during the holidays. And during Thanksgiving, when you boil down Thanksgiving to me, if I can't have family, there's only two other things that I want on Thanksgiving. I want football and I want pumpkin pie for breakfast. Everything else is just details. Those are the two things I want. Those are the two things I had on Thanksgiving. So whatever Thanksgiving is to you, the food, the family, and everything else, I hope that your Thanksgiving was everything you wanted it to be. So, let's jump in. Hashtag steeltoesrequired for those of you that are new, that you've never seen this before. What hashtag steeltoesrequired means is simply this. I'm going to say something that's going to challenge you. It's going to poke you. It's going to prod you. It's going to get you out of your comfort zone, because that is where you're going to grow. And so in the speaking world, we call that stepping on your toes. So I'm going to step on your toes. I'm going to do that not because of my quotes. I have a few, but we're going to use some leaders out there in the industry, gurus in all different fields, and we're using quotes that have resonated with me and impacted me, and I hope they do the same for you. So without further ado, let's get to our quote, and it comes from my mentor, Amy. He's your mentor too, John Maxwell. This is going to be a good one. I discovered this quote in 2009, and here it is. Of all the things a leader should fear, complacency ought to head the list. Did you get that? Of all the things a leader should fear, complacency ought to head the list. This is coming from John Maxwell, writer of 102 books. When you look up leadership, he's at the top of the list, is one of the top leaders there is. So if John Maxwell says that complacency ought to be at the top of our list, of his list, it better be at the top of ours too. So let's dive into complacency for a minute. Why should we fear complacency? Because, complacency is a silent, deadly killer. Complacency never announces itself, says, hey, you're complacent, wake up, you're going down the wrong trail. He never does that. He whispers in your ear. He hides and masquerades behind accomplishments and achievements. When you reach the top of the mountain of a goal or a growth level or whatever big happening happens in your life that is important and a milestone, complacency is right there, shrouded behind it in such things as pride. Pride goes before the fall, we've been told in the good book. And that's where complacency is at. When you achieve a goal, sometimes we want to stay there and we want to enjoy that goal forever. And it's okay to celebrate, but you can't stay there. Because when you stay there, complacency shows up. Complacency also masquerades in the journey to the accomplishment. You're pedaling your bike real fast. You're gaining momentum. You're feeling good about yourself. You're making headway. You're seeing progress. And then you decide, complacency whisper says, take a day off. You've got the momentum. Relax a little bit. And in that moment, you go from pedaling to coasting. And then once you've got to coasting, the momentum eventually runs out and you've got to start all over again. That's what complacency does to you. Complacency is silent, it is deadly, and it needs to be avoided at all. And I mean all costs. Because you know what complacency is? Complacency also is a lack of awareness. Now, I'm a coach. My job is to raise your level of awareness, to bring the unconscious conscious, as Christian Simpson, one of my mentors with the John Maxwell team, says, to bring the unconscious to conscious, unaware to aware. That's right, Amy. No days off. There are no days off. So, that level of unawareness, what happens is when you're unaware, you are actually susceptible to danger and disaster. They're right behind you. Deficiency, danger, disaster are all right behind complacency. Because the minute you rest, you allow the enemy to catch up. Did you get that? Write that down. The minute you rest, the minute you get complacent, you allow the enemy in the back of the pack to catch up. Remember the tortoise and the hare? Remember that story? Maybe fictional, but the point is true. When you slow down, when you take a break, doesn't matter how fast or how talented you are, everybody else is catching up. No days off, like Amy said, no days off. So, this is my favorite saying that I've come up with. This is mine. Complacency cripples champions. Complacency cripples champions. In the sports world, think about it for a minute. I want you to think about whether you're a football fan, a basketball fan, a baseball fan, and if you're not a fan of any of those, think of businesses, think of ratings, think of TV ratings and all those things, and think about how hard it is to be number one in consecutive years. Think about that. How rare is it that teams who win a championship repeat the next year? As a matter of fact, in professional football, it is extremely rare, and there are some times when the team that gets to the championship and loses, they don't even make it to the playoffs next year. Is it complacency? I don't know, but there's something there to that. When you're successful, once you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, sometimes complacency steps in and you never get back there to get another t-shirt. So, how do we avoid complacency? Well, first you got to be aware of it. And in order to be aware of it, that requires daily examination, daily self-examination. That's a critical element. The Bible talks about that. Left for fate. I'm not talking about your Atlanta Falcons. As a matter of fact, they're playing very well right now. That's so funny. I love it. I love it. Actually, I'm here in San Antonio, and for all the Spurs fans down here in San Antonio, they've never repeated as champions. Never. They've had 20 years of success, but they've never repeated as champions. So I don't know if that's Coach Pop and the culture. I don't believe that personally, but there you go. There's case in hand. Anyway, how do we avoid complacency? Here you go. Number one, daily self-examination. I've realized in myself, here I'm talking about complacency, 2 areas where I've been complacent. One is my spiritual, my faith area. I've been complacent there. It's been an area, it's my foundation, it's who I am. At my very core, my faith is who I am. And I have been a person of faith for, 25 years, 26 years. So it is just my DNA. But when you take days off, it's easy to get complacent in areas of strength. Remember that. It's easy to get complacent in areas of strength. Daily examination, that was brought to me. And another area Amy brought up to me today. A reminder that I've been complacent with my physical fitness, my physical health. I have been exercising, but I haven't been taking it seriously enough, and I've been complacent in it because I haven't set any goals. I haven't set any growth areas. I'm just doing it to do it. And I need to examine myself to grow in that area. So Amy, thank you for that today. That was a huge awareness point for me, and I appreciate you. So daily self-examination is one thing, but sometimes when you only have yourself, there's problems. If you're already stuck and you're examining yourself and you're stuck and you're unaware that you're stuck, you got to get an outside third party. Get a coach. I mean it. Coaching is critical to your personal growth, your business growth, your success, your significance. You need a coach. You need that independent third party because their job, my job, is to raise your level of awareness. I'm going to challenge how you think. I'm going to challenge your beliefs. but also I'm going to encourage you, and I'm going to be there to give you the capital A, accountability. That's the biggest tool you need to break complacency. Accountability. You got to be accountable. And when you've got somebody else you've got to meet every week or every month, a couple times a month, and you know that they're going to be there, they're going to show up, and they're going to test you, you're going to be ready. Don't believe me? Go to the gym January 1st. Go to the gym January 1st, and then go to the gym February 14th on Valentine's Day. Big difference. Why? Because they're not accountable. The ones that are in that gym February 14th, they're accountable. They have somebody. They're either being coached or they're no longer stuck and they're not complacent. The ones that aren't there February 14th, no accountability, no why, and they're out of there. So, those are the things you need. If this resonates with you, send me a private message, and here's a couple of things I'd like for you to do for me. Simply do this. If this message adds value to you, just send it off to your friends and encourage them as this has encouraged you. And then, if maybe you already have a coach, and maybe you're already self-aware and you're not complacent anywhere as you think about this. That is awesome. Congratulations. But who did you think of as I was talking that maybe they're in this place? That maybe they're complacent. Maybe they are stuck and aren't aware and they need a coach. Who do you know that I should know? How can I help? How can I serve? Or you be that coach. If they're friends of yours and they listen to you in that way, reach out to them, touch them, and be that voice. Because you see, again, John Maxwell says the greatest thing that a leader should fear is complacency. He's the number one leader in the world. He knows what he's talking about. And if he fears it, it should be up on our list as well. Complacency is up there. Because when you're complacent, you can no longer become a champion. Because you're not even aware. You're not in the game or in the race anymore. So, here we are. Monday's upon us. I want you to have a great week. Thank you for adding so much value to me, especially you, Amy. I appreciate you so much. And remember, next week, 8 p.m. Central Time is another edition of hashtag steeltoesrequired. My name is Dennis LaRue, and I want you to have an incredible week. And I want you to dig deep, identify the areas where you're complacent, and reach out and get a coach this week. I'm reaching out to a couple of my mentors this week, coaches, to touch base with them in the areas especially of my spiritual health. I'm going to do it. I hope you do the same. This is Dennis LaRue. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.